Are we on? We are now. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have a full reading.
EMA, you're up.
Well, sir,
How we doing?
pretty good.
Everybody doing good?
I gave you a report there that's got most of it. I'll highlight a few things there out of each caption. We had 5 incidents during the month of May. We mentioned a couple of those at actually our April meeting. One was an unusual illegal burn. It just consisted of some tires, chemicals, things like that. We contacted EPA, turned it over to their air pollution division. We actually got called out to use our drone for a missing person. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, fortunately they found the person before we got to the scene, so we didn't have to use the drone. But then the big thing was the dump truck crash at the railroad crossing. We got word from the Highway Patrol last Tuesday that driver passed away.
That's really not a railroad cross. I mean, that's a private, is that a private?
It's a private crossing, but
Crossing.
it's still governed and maintained by the rules for crossings. It's not a, it's what they call exempt. Well, some of the exempt ones they no longer use, but this
Right.
one is not, doesn't have signs or the crossing bars, but it's still required by law to stop at those. On the grants and funding, the BRIC grant, we finally got word that the fully obligated grants from 2020 and 2020 to 2023 should not be affected, so everything we've put in for reimbursement so far, we've been reimbursed. On the HMEP grant, I just submitted the new request for the 25-26, and not only to keep our hazmat team certified as a Type 2 team, I also added some money in there to train local law enforcement for basic hazmat awareness. We fixed 4 tornado sirens this month. In addition to the regular monthly checks, I went out and actually physically checked each one myself. Some of those that are out in the outlying areas, we don't necessarily have anybody monitoring those monthly when they go off, so I do those. So
Richmond Dale's worked fine yesterday, just to let you know.
Well, and I checked once. I got a complaint on Schrader Edition, but when I set off Schrader Edition, it also sets off Richmond Dale and Londonderry.
Oh, does
So you might have heard it a couple times this month. You can see the community engagement and interagency cooperation activity we have there. And then as far as training and exercises, Josh is finally fully nationally or certified through NIMS. He finally had his last certification course. I joined the National Infrastructure Disaster Management Program. That's a series of 5 national courses, and I've taken 3 of those. And then we also got our CERC letter of concurrence from Ohio EPA, reference our tabletop, and they concurred that we met all of our targeted objectives. And that's all we really have other than what's in the report there.
Any questions? Josh?
All right. Not gonna lie, I kind of scrambled to get something together because I was out last week, so
That's no excuse, you have that done.
a couple highlights. We have some certification changes coming up, implemented in July, I believe. And this is to align our certifications, Ohio's certifications rather, more with the international model codes that Ohio uses. One thing that I don't like is it tops my eligibility out to obtain future certification. So I'm a level 5, and there's actually 6 levels, but I don't have the background required to obtain some of the level 6 certifications. Basically, I would have to be an engineer with years of experience as an engineer. It doesn't affect my ability to do my job currently, and it's not going to. But just kind of, a little upsetting that I can't go to the next level currently. Sets the course for future certification requirements. And one thing I noticed that it seems to be setting the stage for is requirements for a permit technician, which is what Lauren essentially is. So because of that, she's currently going through a training certification process, which will take place today, tomorrow, and half-day Wednesday.
She's doing it online.
Yeah, so I've scheduled myself in the office to help her out. I told her to just put a sign up on the door while I'm over here, the training in progress kind of thing. Take one closed on me. Doesn't impact David at all. Just wanted to note that the paint stadium project is pretty well done. I just need to go over and give it my final approval. So I'll schedule that with D. Huddleston yet today. Been working with Andy to get tablets and email addresses set up for the contract guys, and that's been working out really well. He's still working on getting our phone system online across the street, so we're still on the old phones, but pretty excited about some of the new features coming. Our contract employees, everything is in place for them to hit the ground running, except for getting IDs from the Sheriff's Department. Haven't been able to get a response over there yet as far as getting somebody scheduled to take a photo and issue an ID.
I did talk to them about that.
Okay, I left a message for Vicky as well, but I didn't hear
Well, it's
back.
JR.
The JR.
But I talked
Okay.
to JR, and he said whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Okay,
Or just let me know, we can go over there and talk.
okay, I'll see if I can get those guys to come in here.
Yeah.
Need to get them digital access to the building code to put on their tablets, which that's no problem. I'm just trying to get it free from the state before we end up paying for it. Did have one work call while I was off. It was a little over exaggerated. Village of Greenfield called me, wanted me to, urgently come consider this building. I said, well, have you had an engineer assess it? Well, yeah. So they sent me a letter dated sometime in April. I said, well, this isn't exactly urgent today, so it can wait till next week. We can look into it because the letter being a month and a half old. Chillicothe is going to resume their non-residential operations. Emailed you guys about that, either July 1st or September 1st. The reason for the big difference in the dates is the Board of Building Standards does not meet in July, so they have to get everything in place and before the board for their June 12th meeting. I know that on May 28th, the City Council approved everything, so it's basically pushing paperwork at this stage and getting in front of the board in time. And just would like to note that they will still need us for their for all of their electrical inspections, residential and non-residential, for the time being until they find somebody with that certification. So we'll continue to back them up in that capacity, and going to log or document how many inspections we have there, so we can see what that impact is in the future. And that's really all I have for this month.
What about, before you went on vacation, you hadn't been back over there at one place, had you?
The two places that I emailed you about?
Yeah.
No, I'd probably like to set up a time to talk with you guys about that in depth, because I think I found a workaround. I just kind of explained to Brad there that I think we can possibly wash our hands of that and leave it up to the city to deal with that.
Okay.
I need to talk with the city about that as well. I don't want to just drop it on their lap and say, here you go. So,
You want to talk to them first before you talk to us? That way you can
I think
get
that'd be
them on
best.
board before.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Dog. Dog warden.
Oh,
Ain't no other dogs in here, huh?
yeah. I thought you said Doug.
Yeah, you're
I thought,
good.
"Who
Just
next
electrical.
There's no Doug.
We have picked
Seems
up
to be a contract.
267 dogs
Yep.
so far. People were,
Since the beginning of the year?
yes,
Okay. I just didn't want you to just
yeah.
bring some dogs for the freaking.
I mean, we picked up a lot
For
of
the
dogs,
month
but
of
not that
May.
many in 1 week.
He wasn't.
And then we've euthanized, or the Humane Society euthanized, 183. We're getting a lot of puppies in.
I say springtime.
Oh, yeah. People are dumping them left and right. We're having to set traps. We got one running around our shelter right now we're trying to catch. People just dump them. They're gonna put the trestles on the building this week, should be. And then, they said something about being ready by September is what they told Jen, but I don't know. Yeah, they better. But, that's about it. Same stuff.
Okay. Devin, your group guy, anything?
Yeah, I'll do a quick update on the visitor center. So we're still awaiting ODNR's response to our request to release the restriction for 89 Riverside. Well, the city's request for the release of that restriction. So once that happens, we'll be fairly free in the clear. We can proceed with a lease agreement with the city of Chillicothe. And then we're also at the same time negotiating the contract with the design firm. We haven't concluded those negotiations because we're trying to, we want to see a little different figure than what they have proposed, so we're still working on that. It's worth doing. But it's rapidly coming to a conclusion on that end. As far as the contract goes for the design firm.
When's the city supposed to be all that service department building? You have any idea?
July, August was the last I heard.
Are they gonna tear it down or are we gonna be responsible?
It's going to, they have a grant to tear that down.
Okay.
Yeah. So that should happen. We'll get a more of a clear understanding once they obtain their grant agreement from the state for that demolition grant that they have been awarded. We'll get you an update on the actual date. So that's it for the visitor center. Oh, well, and actually one more thing with visitor center. So we've already had Melody Young just kind of formulate her, the core group to look at any of the interactive displays, any of the interior pieces of this puzzle. So we'll want NPS involved in that, Melody Young and our local historic society, etc. We want to tell an accurate story, obviously, of Ross County and the region. So good to have the right people in place and get started early.
Yeah.
And mind you, it's not a UNESCO-focused facility, but it's a Ross County history, and the UNESCO, obviously, Hopewell culture plays a big part in that. Our traffic impact study, Pleasant Valley Road, the counts were taken prior to school being let out. We're looking at AM peaks and PM peaks, so that's approximately 7 to 9 AM and then 2 to 6 PM. So they have the numbers, they're processing them. I'll have the initial results this week after they finish processing. That'll give us a good picture of the existing conditions out there. Then they're going to work on the two scenarios, one being a major residential, single-family residential subdivision, and then another is a mixed-use commercial residential. So we've got two development scenarios out there that they're going to work on. And basically, that'll just show us what the changes in traffic flow, potential problems that could arise from either of the development scenarios, and then solutions for those. And I think some of the things that we're interested in really are the any potential public improvements that need to be made in that area, specifically at that intersection close by the property. And again, we're trying to build out a vision for the entire corridor. This is the first phase in that. So we're actually trying to find funding to complete the vision for the entire corridor. Do a more robust feasibility and traffic study. So this is the first part in that. Can't wait to see some results, and we can go from there. And then ACGP, we'll have John Hemmings here.
Thank you, Devin. I'll touch on all the Ross County projects you're probably most interested in those. Chillicothe, they're getting close to their first GMP, guaranteed maximum price, and it'll be on the roadways, so Water Street, Riverside, that area, Mulberry. That's probably going to be this month. It'll be this month. Construction should start on that in July. Then Brasilia updated us on that Friday. Then the GMP2, which includes the park amenities, so you're talking about the pickleball courts, some of the stuff down there. That all will start in July. That's when they'll have the GMP for us. So that study starts soon after. I'm not sure if, and it wasn't clear there Friday whether that included the Armory or the Pavilion as well with that one on that GMP2, or if there'll be a third one for that. They have asked for an amendment to the state of Ohio. Two amendments actually. We've submitted both of them. One is for to do away with the roundabouts up here and put in just improve the pedestrian and biking amenities for Water Street, and put that, do a road diet. And then the other one is the skate park. The pickleball courts are going where the skate park is now. And the mayor's wanting to salvage not losing that skate park, because the state, he had it in the application, but the state deducted that when they awarded the state award. So they're trying to figure out a way with the amendment to the state to let the state go ahead and let them redo the skate park.
Yeah, we just want to relocate it. And modernize it just a bit.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily sinking a lot of money, ACGP money in it, but just doing what we would have done anyways. You have to relocate it.
Yeah. Just not to lose that asset to the youth. And so we've got those two amendments in, and I sent the skate park thing in on Friday, so we'll hear from that soon. On UNESCO, things are moving smoothly on that one. The biggest thing is National Park Service has to have that archaeological because of the sensitivity of the sites. So they're doing their due diligence to make sure that anything that's done out there doesn't disrupt any type of historical artifacts and things such as that. So they are moving along on that. We should have a guaranteed maximum price on that, the first one in July. And that'll be for some of the long-term purchase items like the toilets down at Sight Mound, and then out at, I think it's for the shelter house there at Mound City. So they'll be ordering those items so that there's the lead time on them is taken care of. Most of the project will start this fall though on those 4 sites, and they'll go site by site, and I cannot remember. I think they're starting at Hope. I'll get that. I think it's Hopewell, sorry. Bainbridge, they're working on the construction documents that'll bid in September. Last time I was up here, I had down from the engineering firm or design firm that Frankfurt was going to bid May 9th. They moved that to May 30th, which would have been last Friday. I don't know if it got bid or not last Friday, so Kim's waiting on reports to come in. I looked and they hadn't submitted their report yet, which they're due the 5th, aren't they? Or
Yeah, he does.
5th. So we'll know that soon. But
I don't think that they went to bid, but I'd be surprised if they did.
yeah. They were having Charlie look at the
Right.
design of the streetscape, so, and you said he hadn't looked at it all completely.
Right, so, yeah, I think that his target was at the end of last week, so maybe he's got
Yeah.
that done, so. That's why I don't think that they've gone to bid yet.
Right.
So
But
they
it's
supposed to
close.
bid on the 9th and then they changed it to the 30th? and
Yeah,
We don't know if they've done anything on the 30th or not.
correct.
Okay.
The Children's Museum, bid opening for that is tomorrow at 11 a.m. And Paint Creek, the last report we got from the engineer on that, on the reports, was that it'll bid by the end of this month. So those are the Ross County projects. Something Devin's looking into that could help us with the cost of projects and put more money in construction is there's some technical assistance funds that are left over that Ross County got from OVRDC when OVRDC applied for that, $250 for each county. And we may put that towards some of the cost in a couple of these projects, which will put more over into construction for the projects. So,
And just keep you up to date, we're going out to we aren't, local communities will be going out to with RFQs for inspection services, third-party inspections. It's a big deal, it's quite pretty expensive item, could be, and so we are currently negotiating, or actually I think we went beyond negotiation, we went to RFQ for the city of Chillicothe for inspection services. Those are gonna be contracts held by the locals, not Ross County. So, anytime we can take the burden of contracting off of Ross County, we're trying to do that. Inspections, very well could have been an add-on to our existing contracts, but I thought it was better, or the whole team thought it was better to send it out for RFQ and try to get the best prices we possibly can. So that's where we're at right now.
and I think, glad you brought that up, I think from a lot of people, like Sarah, who's our construction manager and owner's rep, she thinks the costs that have been budgeted for inspections high. So that's gonna automatically put that money over into construction,
Yes.
which is good. Just around the region, 9 projects went with the construction manager at risk, and 8 of those are under contract with their CMAR, and Logan's the only one outstanding. They had some trouble with the city had some trouble with the language in the contract, so they asked for a modification, and they're waiting on their council meeting. Interesting was Athens and the Mount Zion project over there. Athens bid for their streetscape, Mount Zion, their phase 2, got 0 bids on both of those projects. One was bid May 9th, Mount Zion, and then Athens was May 20th. And neither one got any bids. I don't know what that's saying, but interesting.
Well, I
That's
think.
what I was gonna say, I think it's gonna be tough because we got all these projects going on and you know, we end up with a fly-by-night to my bids and it's gonna be a fly-by-night.
And I think we need to really look at how they were advertised,
Yes.
what did they utilize to advertise the projects, the opportunities. So sometimes that can make a difference, you know, sometimes if you're only advertising in your local newspaper, you're just doing the minimum required.
Right.
I mean, I know those companies scour those newspapers, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they did to advertise, but I do know we had that open house back in November, and I sent a list to a lot of people, like, here's a list of contractors you might want to reach out to that were interested in this in
Right.
November, so maybe they'd be interested now. And Athens jumped right on that, so I wonder if they didn't do what you just said.
Right.
So. Projects under construction, the University of Rio Grande MacArthur campus, the Welsh Museum down at Oak Hill, Wellston's Medical Office Building, the Southeast Ohio History Center in Athens, and Mount Zion, their phase 1, which is their basement, is under contract and being worked on. Holzer Hospital's Child Care Center over at Galplis, they just got it under contract last week, so it'll be starting. So. Projects that are out to bid, Mount Zion's rebid in phase 2, I think they're on June 20th. The stained glass contract, remember that? It's signed.
I didn't wanna
You don't wanna remember?
I don't wanna remember, I don't know, wanna remember.
It is
that.
fully executed. not last Friday, the Friday before that, the lady who was doing the work was on site checking out the building and all the stuff. So we're moving forward.
That's good.
Chauncey, or it's Chansey, I say Chauncey, it's over in Athens. Their bid opening is June 19th, and Leesburg's is June 18th, over in Highland County. And based on the engineering reports, Peebles and the Grant Holman School at Georgetown are supposed to bid this month, but we haven't seen their report yet, so I'll see if they move them back or if they're ready to move forward. So a lot of activity starting. We're going to a lot of earth will start moving here this summer.
Greenfield, and we have anything to do with that?
Yeah.
With the park, yes, they already started working over there, haven't they?
On what project?
Over through the Parker.
Folsom Park.
Yeah, Felton Park. They have, the CMAR has given them, no, back up. It's the OHM, the design firm, has sent out the final specs for getting GMP 1, which is basically any demolition that they have to do. There's a ball field there in the park. They're going to do away with it, and some other things. They'll grade. It's just for the grading and getting everything prepped.
Okay.
And there's also, they submitted a, they did a cultural resource survey, and the consultant that did that has submitted that to the Ohio Historical, or the Ohio Historic Preservation Office. And they, it's under review. The only thing that was found out there, interestingly enough, was on the Ross County side over where the stone quarry is.
Right.
And it's that old quarry, and I guess the consultant said that stone quarry may be eligible for National Register of Historic Places. May be eligible.
I'm trying to think who, the last thing I knew that the police department owned that quarry over there.
I was out there, the only thing left is an old kiln sitting there, and it's about half falling apart, but they said there was I saw part of, I didn't read the whole report, but I scanned it, and said there's a concrete slab out there, and that's all I'm thinking, I didn't even see it, there's dirt over it. There's not much out there to make historic, I guess, other than that kiln. And I can tell you, as part of the project, that kiln's not being touched, or I don't think it is. They're just putting campsites over there so people can kayak out of there,
Yeah.
and,
It's primitive, it's not.
yeah.
I say there's not gonna be anything over there.
Yeah, no, yeah, nothing but campsites, primitive campsites, and they're gonna put it so you can, instead of getting on Paint Creek, if you're ADA, they're gonna set up an ADA kayaking thing there at the quarry, because that's smooth water.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, just to tag along with ACGP, I'm processing all the invoices that come through, so I have the fiscal oversight. So 30 projects, and that's getting ready to, we're amping up construction, so that's gonna double, the amount of invoice processing that's going through our office. So working on that and the monthly reports for ACGP that we send to the state. In addition to that, I just started working on 4 grants that are due over the summer. 3 federal and a state grant, so 2 of those are associated with the 104 sewer project. And we've already been awarded those funds, but then there's an application process that follows, so, and it's pretty detailed. So working on that. Also working with the Sheriff's Department on 2 grants. One's a federal JAG grant, and I think they've selected their communications vehicle. It needs an upgrade. So I haven't even really started reading through the requirements for that grant, but I'll start working on that. And then I'm working on a Law Enforcement Mental Health and Wellness Act program funding opportunity. Just started working on that too, and it's due June 24th, so $200,000 for that one. $4 million for the 2 EPA grants, and unsure of what the JAG grant funding opportunity looks like. Besides that, Brad did just share that the county, the Sheriff's Department was awarded $400,000 for the Keene project.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so just found that out, so they had $80,000 they received 2 weeks ago for body cameras, and then this $400,000.
Yeah, because George called me
That's a great thing. That's good work by
That's
Kim.
good work.
Thank you,
Yeah.
appreciate
Good
it.
work.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is, Kim, your work speaks for itself on all these grants that you're chasing down all across every department in the county and being very successful.
Yeah, appreciate that, yeah.
You do get to sleep at night, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This summer's gonna be intense with all
Yeah.
this, but,
Did I miss anybody? Sarah?
You missed me last time too. I thought you
Well,
were trying to do it on purpose.
I wasn't gonna let you go,
Like the
I wasn't gonna let you
new-
go first. I'm thinking, she's here anyway, her office is right back here.
So litter control update, we helped with Geismacher this weekend and provided 15 trash cans. Got those cleaned up over the weekend. The roadside cleanups are in full go. We have a lot of residents that request their roads to be cleaned in the summer, so that's what we're kind of working on. Again, shout out to probation because they do a great job with us. Wellness, the 25 wellness year is getting ready to close, June 31st. So if you haven't finished your wellness program, still have time.
You got time.
Still got time. A goal of mine I've been stressing last year, closing out the grant and figuring out who completed the program, was a complete bear. It took weeks for me to get through that. I think I received like 18,000 lines of data that I had to go through, and it was a bear. So pre-planning this year, have worked on a little bit of training with Subco, and I'm excited to close out the year a little bit easier this year. Communications, I'm just trying to continue growing, and I'm going into planning tomorrow to do their introductory.
You may have to reschedule.
Okay, well, we can do that.
Yeah.
And
These appointments, they just.
yeah, so working through introductories, hopefully within the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks we'll be done with that.
Cool.
I see Andy had a smiling face.
That's as creative as I can get.
Got anything?
No?
Sounds good, guys.
job,
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Continue pushing on, as always.
Oh, okay.
That was it? Yeah, good to see you too.
I'll probably pick up something else.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a TV.
Very small.
yeah, let's just.
Right. They're all.
Yeah, no, don't go back. If you can eat, this summer's done.
Have a good one, brother.
Okay.
Homeland Security.
We won't do anything. It seemed,
After 9/11.
is that some racetrack?
Yeah,
Practice?
we went and tested.
That's right, every year, doesn't
I
it?
haven't been in a seat since February.
All across the
Florida,
country, you can
so-
get almost anything you want.
Had to find out
Well, then,
what that car's gonna do. See if I can make it faster.
I'm just trying to figure out how you guys drive everything, because it's leaning to one side even if it's sitting still.
Oh, yeah.
Homeland Security
Yeah.
Region 7.
It's pretty crazy.
All just southeast Ohio.
It's an addiction.
We can compete in Toledo,
Right.
Akron,
Historically weird.
Columbus.
Mhm.
So when they do projects, they gotta do the regional projects. And if we can find a way to tie that to a regional project, and they almost cut out all the fire, it's almost going all
Okay.
so which is what
Mhm.
would work for the communication.
Yeah, it's,
Good
yeah,
job.
thank
Good
you,
job.
appreciate it. That was great news on Monday.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
congratulations for the keys for the jail. So,
Yes, it's the key price,
Awesome.
yep,
Awesome.
400,000.
Yeah.
All right, see y'all.
But if I get a hold of it.
How much was that project, Brad, to do the keys?
We estimated right around
Communications trailer.
390,000.
And they were just about
So that's,
box.
we have more. That should cover it.
Yeah, because George called me and said, hey, I think the governor's going to announce that we're going to get a grant. I said, okay.
Yeah, yes.
when you put something like that up, like they did Amy and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
or even on our meetings, when you announce the meeting's gonna be at 9 AM on June the 6th, something like that, people allowed to comment on that,
Yeah, they should be able to.
Okay, I didn't know.
All the comments are turned on.
To the bills.
Yep. They can comment. I've learned that if it's anything negative, they normally just don't comment on the post. They'll share it themselves and make their own, like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
$78,750. I don't know what that's for.
It's the OSU extension.
Oh, okay. That's in addition to,
In addition to the, yeah, the condos. And then add those two together.
if I had it right. Glad you got anything over there, but I might as well do that while we're gonna wait until 10 o'clock. Figure the news media's not gonna be here. And
You talked with those guys about the first capital recovery, you talked to Josh about that. Did you guys approve the purchase of that furniture at the Humane Society?
we will
You will?
put it in here, Kathy. What was the last
That
one?
was last week.
No, we did.
We didn't approve
Good,
it,
too, if you-
but we need to do that,
Well, that's still hanging out there.
so they can,
I think I got it.
I may have to.
I got it.
Here, I got this
Keep
one.
everything in here.
If you don't have it, I got it.
You should still got everything that's not done. I thought I did.
You need something, Rich?
So, my question is, other than promoting parking, could we get, and then bring some things in?
What funds would that come out of, Kathy?
Capital improvement.
Okay.
You also sent an email about reentry coalition.
Well, I just didn't know some of the.
That, I think it's, that falls in our court.
Yeah, reentry coalition, transportation,
I was just trying to.
mobility transportation.
I can't remember.
That was approved through resolution, mobility fund.
Okay.
That's not changed.
Are you gonna go ahead and appropriate it if we made a resolution?
If we made a resolution, go ahead and do it, take care.
Same with the reentry, I know was in the budget.
Supposed to be.
I remember it.
Yeah.
Being in the budget.
Yeah.
Yes, appropriation for that. And also the transportation.
How did it do?
Not very good. No, he didn't play it very well to have a successful team.
Yeah, 61-0.
We did what we could do. He played well.
Did he get toilet bowl? I've got one right.
This is for
Yeah, I did.
David, new furniture up to the.
Maisie won it last year.
I had it, but I don't, but
I got
it. I read it.
To Macker and
I mean, we're
Monster.
building a new building. To me, it doesn't make sense to put old furniture in a new building that's past due for an update. And so, yeah, I'm okay with it.
So $6,105. So we bid for wood furniture, out to the Humane Society on the dog warden's office.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Second, all in favor say aye. You got that, Kathy?
Yep.
I sent you an email on that stormwater stuff that we looked at.
Right,
last
yeah.
night. How do you want to move forward with that?
To me, I think that we have done the investigation. We've determined our position or our obligation on all of this, and I think Ben did a great job in summarizing that.
Yeah.
So,
When we send an email to the,
I would send an email back there, that's not, the way I take it, it's not ours.
well, I'll send her an email, then if she wants to talk about it more, she can call me or I can go out and meet with her.
sure.
Sound good?
We looked into it. We had a meeting to discuss our obligation.
Yeah.
You guys went out there.
Yeah,
The stormwater went out there, the county engineer and you went out there,
Yeah.
and it's just, I would still like to see, is that water coming up from the bottom?
What do you mean?
Is it coming up from our drains in the basement?
I don't know where it's.
That's what I say, I don't
She
know.
wasn't there when we.
As I said,
when we went there.
is it coming through,
No,
does
it's
she have,
just-
does
it's
she
just-
have windows in the basement?
There's just so much water coming off that hill.
Yeah.
And they don't have any grading done around the house. You know, it's just, they need to work on their property,
To keep
not
that-
just around the house, but on the rest of the property like the other neighbors have
Right.
done. That's really what needs to happen.
For me, there's no easement for a drainage ditch.
No, there isn't.
In that space between Amherst and
Greystone Court.
Greystone and Amherst. That's not to say that there couldn't be or shouldn't be, but there's not.
No.
And if there's not an easement for us to
We can't
maintain
work
a ditch, we
Yeah,
don't
so
have
we
the
can't, we
ditch.
can't work in that ditch if there's
Right.
nothing there.
We maintain what we have to maintain, what
Right.
we can get to, and that's it.
And where we have the right to maintain.
Right.
I mean, if we don't have an easement, there's no working on private property we don't have. So, that's I thought Ben did a good job.
That's my too. I thought you guys did a good job and went out there and.
I want to give you my time sheet, but then I'd like to, at some point, I want to go into executive session to talk about a personnel issue.
Okay.
So whenever you want to do that, just.
Got Brad's time sheet.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
I don't want to have to kick David out.
You wanna go into the next session now?
Whenever you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go into the executive session.
Sorry, folks, we won't be long today.
9:45 a.m.
I'll let you determine who else from our office.
The rest of us are fine.
Kevin. This is it. Executive session. Hold on a second, Brad.
Yeah. So last week, we got these questions in the office about payouts. What kind of payout you get when you leave work, what, you know, how you gain more time, more vacation time. And there's a document, I'll share this with you guys. There's a document in the manual that says when you start here, your first year, you're not allowed to take any vacation.
Correct.
Okay, but you're still accruing the time. Okay, in the next year, you're allowed to take 80 hours, which would be the 40 hours you earned during this year.
Plus the 40.
And plus the 40. And then if you notice, every year after that, it's 40 hours, 40 hours, 40 hours. Okay? Well, apparently what's been happening is the folks in the auditor's office, when they saw this, people from different departments would report, hey, my employee just hit the 8-year mark and they're entitled to 40 more hours of vacation time. Well, the way this is supposed to work is your accrual rate goes up every year. So you don't automatically get 40 hours of vacation.
Right.
You get accrual time. So over that next year, you'll
Right.
get 40 more hours.
Right. Over the course of that year.
Well, apparently what they've been doing is they've been giving them 40 hours plus raising their accrual time. As soon as they hit that anniversary date, they gave them 40 hours.
I can't. You don't get 40 hours until after it. That's the way I take it.
You don't just get 40 hours given to you. You get an accrual rate that goes up by 40 hours.
40 hours.
So you'll accrue 40 more hours. Here you're only accruing 40 hours a year.
Right.
Now you're accruing 80 hours a year.
Okay.
Okay, and it keeps going up until you get to 200 hours a year. Okay,
Oh wait, sound's on.
I'm sorry. Is
The
it?
sound is on.
He's out goating this week at Nationals. His daughter's goat got National Reserve Grand Champion.
Oh, wow.
Just sent me an email. For them folks.
In Kentucky or Tennessee?
They're local.
Got anything else, Brad?
No, that's it for now.
Let's do the bills.
Oh, Lord.
Right here with these books.
David, you don't have, did you?
Yep, I got it,
Did you get the extra page?
Yep, I got it.
Bills for the week, $2,047,431.77.
A lot of money that is related to ACGP grant funding that's starting to get spent as it passes through Roush County. I reviewed these bills and I will make a motion to approve the bills, pay the bills.
I'll second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Got them trying to make a. Then and now, $9,993.98. 999,398.
I will make a motion to approve the then and now analysis.
I'll second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And let's see what else we got.
I'm trying to sign into the construction progress reporting survey and I'm having trouble. Oh, more than one. But the problem is that I have a password, but I don't have a login.
Did you read the,
No, I don't know what it is. I guess
I
that's
did.
my
From
problem.
the prosecutor's office?
Yes, I did. I read that actually on Friday or Sunday, whatever day that was.
move the suit? No, we don't need anything unless we got it, just have knowledge and we got it.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, we got it.
I'm looking at this. It's a Albion Construction Progress Report Survey. It's Brad Cosenza. COSENZA. Let me look. It came to me.
Well,
Brad
here.
Cosenza, Ross County, Iowa.
Yeah,
Here's a, request to light up the courthouse for overdose awareness
Yes, ma'am.
month. And they want the courthouse lit up in purple for the month of August. August the
Yes,
1st to
I
the
assume,
31st.
since that's a federal grant.
They need to slim, they need to slim that
I see the
down.
password, but I don't see the user ID.
Well,
460 2, one more time, please.
well, first I'd say we got time to address this one, because the request is August 1st and we're in the second day of June, so we've got time for that. Last week, we discussed
Where would that be?
courthouse
Would it
lighting.
be on the first
and
email that I
we
got?
touched on
'Cause
policy and all
I don't see it
sorts
on
of
there. The only
things.
thing
I do want to
see
address
is,
that quickly. I have more to say if people have questions or we want to have a more in-depth discussion. I have no issue with individuals in the LGBT community I'm no way wanting to impede the celebration of Pride this month, but my position, which we discussed last week, specific to the courthouse, is that displays related to political activism are important for.
Well, with your help,
are
I'm in.
inappropriate
I'm in
for
because I have the
public
password,
buildings,
so.
and it's as simple as that.
That
But
utility,
for this
Okay,
one,
so we won't
I
do,
think, I
okay,
think,
so we won't do the one for August the 1st.
I think we need to have a policy that
Yes,
defines
ma'am.
this, or
I'm
at
in
least
that,
have a
thank you.
conversation around it. So
Appreciate your help.
we got plenty of time to
That's it.
discuss this more.
Uh-huh.
Like you said,
Well,
you need to slim it down, but what are we looking to say it needs to be slimmed down or not slimmed down? We've got nothing that provides parameters or procedures around that. But I think this one would probably be a better discussion when we're in full attendance here, and like I said, we've got 2 months to make a decision on that one.
Okay. Now we have a request.
Oh, is that Twin
From
Townships?
Twin Township trustees. Request to borrow $30,000 from the general fund and pay it back next year. We have committed a large amount of money to our 2025 paving contract to pave our housing addition. With the extra money received from the sales tax, we will be in better shape next year with our road monies. We're trying to maintain our general fund as Twin Cemetery is almost full, and we will not be able to have funds for sale plots, so money will be used from the general fund for upkeep of the cemetery and approximately $40,000 a year. Didn't they just get $55,000?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. They didn't mention anything about that $55,000 in this letter.
Well, they did add, they said their budget is questionable because they don't know that the road monies could be spent on something like that. And I would say that probably based upon the way that we've written the resolution, and our understanding is that it's not for equipment. But $55,000 to every township is over $800,000 that we've spent and appropriated this year for owns 2 townships, which is what they were requesting. But that was prior to, and those conversations happened prior to
Them receiving the money.
them receiving this funding. My position on supporting the townships with loans is that it's a great thing that we can do if it's needed, and we can do it, but we can't, every request that comes in, we have to put again some parameters around that, because if all 16 townships asked for a loan at the same time, there's no way we could be able to support doing that. I think one, I'd like to get Commissioner Everson's idea on this. 2, I think we need to clarify what those road monies are supposed to go to from like a legal perspective, if that's a question that needs to go to Prosecutor Marks.
I think we made it clear what that road money's supposed to go for, is roads.
Yeah.
The maintenance and construction of the roads. Not an arm for a lawnmower or buy a new mower.
I'm not saying no, I just want to have a conversation, the 3 of us probably with them before we go ahead and, make a decision about that and think about it a little more as well, because we've got to understand what the county, who is a partner to all these townships, what does that look like? Because we have made a pretty significant commitment this year that goes on from this year well beyond that.
5 years out.
Yeah, so, that's kind of my take on it.
Okay. Brad,
Yes, sir.
this thing from D.E. Edelson. You see that?
Yeah, that's a payout.
For the fence.
That's it. Yeah, that's the end of it.
What do you need from?
And that will come out of,
I just need a signature.
you just need a signature?
Yeah, right there where it says owner,
Yeah.
that is. That's the architect, owner, treasurer, so you're the second line there.
Okay. Need a motion to sign it?
Yeah, so move.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I don't know what to do.
6-2.
No, that's sure.
Thank you.
I'm not buying any insurance or Medicaid, Medicare. CDBG grant for authorized resolution to apply for, and two, for 1 and 2, environmental review session certification form. The funding will be used at Carver Community Center, Homeless Shelter Resource Center projects and grants.
Yes, that's something we discussed. I think this is.
Yes.
Or made that decision.
I'll second.
Follow up.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And this is Jack's name on there. West County Planning and Development. This is
the floodplain stuff we
This
talked
is
about last
floodplain
week.
stuff that we talked about.
Jack's got the note here that we've got them on the agenda for next week. Or maybe he's thinking that'll be a work session. Josh and Devin both.
Does not sound familiar. I don't have them down anywhere.
Okay.
I can put them on work session if that's what you want.
Let's do that. I'll hold off on that one. I don't want Devin to get too comfortable over there. Pass all the work off there to somebody else. This is, oh,
Did you check to see if all that? It is.
This is on
oh,
the
that's,
agenda later.
yeah, that's later. Brad, you got anything else?
No, sir.
Kathy, you got anything?
No.
Sarah, you got anything? Nikki, you wanna wait 20 minutes or you want,
Whenever you can get it in.
you just have to sit there and look it up again?
Whenever you need.
Hey, we're scheduled for 10:30 with you, so.
Brad, when's Juanita coming back?
Who?
Juanita.
I don't know, they said they'd be right in.
Why don't you show up right at 10:30?
Yeah, I was just at 10:30.
There you go. You ask and you shall receive.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Howdy.
Morning. Okay.
Okay, before we start, what is this about?
It's-
Give me a nice short version.
It's about holding dogs at the shelter for court cases.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, we had a case. The guy had his dogs in a U-Haul, and we don't know where he was at. City police called us. We removed the dogs. We filed charges on him, and the judge gives the dogs back. Now, what date was that?
Me and Ryan called me on December 25th last year.
Okay.
We took the dogs. He did not go to court until 5/16 of this year.
State law says I have to hold them for 3 days.
Judge signed off.
If the judge tells you you have to hold them dogs for evidence, you can hold them for 25 years if you want to, because I'm not going back yet. If you go and don't do an order what the judge says,
The judge just signed this though on 5/16. The shelter won't hold them this long. They don't have the space. So the judge signed this paper, but the dogs ain't at the shelter. This case was Ryan's. 2 of them's been put down, and the female that was pregnant went to a foster out of state, I think.
this guy wants his dogs back.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Why were they put down?
Shelter puts them down if they're aggressive at all. The women that work back here, of course, they're a little leery of larger breed.
Here's what the dogs
Better get
was
rid of
living
work
in.
from them.
Shelter says they
You
don't
see
have
the drugs
to, they're
right
not
there.
holding them that long.
But
Well, but
There's
they're
more.
gonna get you a report about why they put them down, because they may be paying the bill.
Yeah.
Is there a contract between the shelter and us?
What Sarah just told me while Juanita was down here in her meeting, I went over and talked to Sarah. She pulled up a contract that she said is between the county and them, and it does not say in there that they have to hold these dogs. I've been questioning it because I've got these 2 here
Well,
I filed felonies on.
If you take a dog and you cite somebody, that's evidence. You have to hold that evidence until the case is over with. That's like investigating a homicide.
Yeah.
And I go and find a gun, but then I have a gun taken to Clemson's mouth down before the trial even started. Well, that's,
We know that, but the shelter's not gonna do that because of space.
well, this is, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. This is where it comes down to the contract between the shelter, the Humane Society shelter, and us. And if it says that they're supposed to be holding dogs for us, they need to hold those dogs for us. We don't want to hold dogs we don't have to hold. But when a judge orders that a dog is not to be euthanized, then it should not be euthanized. And if the Humane Society, shelter, whatever, is saying that they don't have to do that, then I'm wondering what our relationship with the Humane Society is. We're funding a significant portion of this rebuild for the Humane Society so that there can be music for the dogs to listen to, and it's gonna be a top tier, world-class deal. Plus, we give them supporting funding annually in addition to that. I wanna see the contract and be comfortable that when a judge orders something, there's no excuse for it not to be held.
if the judge makes an order.
Well, the thing is, Odie, the judge don't make that order until after the case goes to court and is over.
But if you take a dog in as evidence, which you did,
Yeah.
they can't, that 3 days shouldn't even work.
Well,
Shouldn't even be in that conversation.
I filed,
Because you take you take evidence,
Yeah.
so they destroyed evidence more than anything.
so what's happening here is the guy is really angry and wants his dogs back. He can't get them. This case here I filed on 5/7 of this year. There is 20 citations on a person for dogs in a camper, cruelty, and no license. Those dogs are not at the shelter either. This case has not been seen by a judge yet, nor has these.
They can't.
So I got worried when she was in the meeting earlier because I don't know what to do. They're saying they only have to hold them 3 days,
Per who does his contract.
per contract. It's 3 days if they're microchipped, which I always thought it was 10 to 14 days.
It's 14 days for
Jen
mine.
said 3 days for microchip, and they have to hold them 10 days if it has a Ross County dog license on the collar or on the dog.
Or if the dog bites, then they have to hold it.
Yeah. So I don't really know how to handle, I don't know what's in you guys' contract. I have no clue.
I don't, you don't need a contract.
No.
If you take a dog in, and you cite that person, that dog is classified as evidence. They can't not destroy evidence, period.
Just really,
So what should we do?
The guy ain't gonna get his dogs back, so I don't know who's gonna,
He said he's gonna get a lawyer. I don't know. I've been talking to the law director and she said the same thing. The dogs have to be held,
yeah.
but the shelter's not gonna have that. They said they don't have space.
We probably need to get them in here.
Yeah, we need to get them.
that's what I was gonna say. You
They
guys
just
don't
had
need-
2 dogs with parvo in the back.
We need to find that, we
That's
need to
good.
find that contract, Kathy.
And they also said, just like if a dog comes in and it's under a court case, the shelter can't have it spayed or neutered, no altercations.
Right.
So I'm confused on some of it because
If the dog gets sick,
they have to vet it.
well, what if it gets parvo? I mean, they just
Well,
had
he
2
said
of
you,
'em.
you would need proof why the dog was being put down
Oh,
from a vet.
okay.
Written out statement, hey, your dog got parvo
And that's why he went in. If you're
Or-
holding that dog for evidence,
or died from a seizure or a heart failure or whatever, you'd have to have it from a vet.
Well, I think, Brad, you're right, we need to get the contract reviewed, likely have some conversation.
well, the contract really has nothing to do with this. If you cite somebody and you take that dog as evidence, they cannot get rid of it.
Right.
So who do they sue? Because
They're gonna sue everybody.
They're gonna sue everybody who's standing in line.
The county, the dog warden, the.
Humane Society.
Because I know dogs are personal property, but these dogs are not
There's a
there.
contract that says the Humane Society further agrees that it will continue to take possession of and care for any dogs which come under the custody and control of the Ross County dog warden pursuant to law.
There you go.
I figured we probably had something in there.
I've got a guy, for instance, right now, I got called out from the city PD the other night. He was being arrested on a back warrant. He had it's a little chihuahua, but the dog's in good shape. They're not gonna hold it.
And he's still in jail, isn't he?
Yeah.
See, but you didn't take the dog as evidence.
No,
Mm-mm.
and it's
You took the
healthy.
dog- You took the dog for safekeeping.
Yes. So that's a touchy, I'm concerned about them adopting Ed out because he's gonna have a fit too.
How long is he in jail?
I called the sheriff's department Friday morning. He had went up, his record's just an OVI. They set a bond. He was trying to come up with that. He gave me his mother's phone number. She's unable to take the dog. She has a dog.
That's what I was gonna ask, is that a family member?
I already asked that. I called the mother. She's older. She has a dog of her own. I hate to see the dog go because it was healthy. If it was unhealthy, it might be a little different feeling, but what do you do in a case,
See if we can get them in here, Kathy, next week.
I was gonna talk to Jen this morning, but she was out in some kind of meeting or appointment.
I got a headache now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, this all kind of blew up. She left.
Yeah.
And I've been working on it since, but everybody's telling me by law them dogs have to stay there. And the shelter's saying we can't because of space. I wasn't sure. I told her we probably needed to come in here.
They have to hold them dogs.
Yeah.
Well, that's just something you're gonna have to work out with the contract, sit down with them and say, hey, here's the issue, what can we do about it? You know, that's all you're gonna be able to do.
The thing is, if this,
I mean, you don't have any place else to hold them.
no, we don't have
You should
any.
send them home with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that.
Maybe some
I'll bring the aggressive one to you. No?
I got enough dogs around me as it is there.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, we'll work something.
You're right, Brad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about your headache.
Yeah, just wanted to give you a heads up. Thanks, Brad.
See you guys.
Thank you, guys.
That was a good money, wasn't it? I just seen, what's his name from Lucy Webb House, Brad.
Yes, sir.
He's here.
Yeah.
Have him come in. We'll get that going up.
Would you like to join us?
Okay, so Kevin's trying to come to,
Who is?
Kevin's home. That's what I think.
Just we'll wait 5 minutes for Kevin to be here.
Did you say Kevin's coming as well?
He said time to be here.
I feel like
103.
he
David
just,
went to go get something, I don't know. He'll be back.
Cool. Changed a bit.
what is it?
Changed a bit.
Oh, I have?
Yeah.
How? Am I grayer?
You're
Yeah.
prettier.
Oh, well, thank you. That's always nice to hear. I have gotten considerably grayer since taking this job.
Oh, we all.
Did you just read this email from Charlie?
Oh, you got it, so I don't need to send it to you.
About the 629?
Yes.
The guy who sent this email,
Not the one now.
is he part of that?
Must be part of what they're calling
The
the
Great Seal
Great
Medical?
Seal Medical Project.
Yeah. I'm not giving you a text, man. I said they
That's
could
the
build a
one
freaking,
They invited me to today.
Okay.
No. Oh, excuse me.
we already made a decision on that anyway. We was not gonna apply for that. Am I right, David?
I feel pretty comfortable in saying we're not going to apply 629 funds for that.
Something else.
This
We've been
Monday,
ongoing
they're talking about
negotiation
something.
around
They're waiting on Kevin.
around the
Pool to
tip.
start.
Okay. So is that what our meeting is?
But I don't,
Yeah.
of all the possible public road work that we could do with 629 funds, I can't.
That's one.
imagine that we would be driving it toward that, which is related to what's ultimately going to become kind of a private development. And I recognize that that's a ingress, public ingress, egress, but right now that's going toward nothing but private
Then that's, yeah.
project. So I would say I'm pretty comfortable in saying no to that, but it should fit within the overall consideration of our entire incentive package which is still under negotiation, and so, yes. I'm with you. I'll pull up this property.
Are you gonna respond to his email, Charlie's, let him know that, or you want me to do it?
Can you do it if you don't mind?
There's Kim.
Just, we talked about this before when they brought it up, and we already said it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna apply for a state grant for a private individual to build a new road.
Let me just call him.
Okay.
All right, Kevin's here.
Okay. Nikki Wells.
We met about this last year, this lot, and at that time, the commissioners, said they were not interested in purchasing at the price that our board was asking for this lot. Then I was invited to come back today and talk about it again. We're still open to selling it to the Lucy Hayes Webb Heritage House. I can never say the full name without messing it up. Lucy House, that's easier. And Dave did share with me that when he talked to you guys recently about it, he looked it up, and CMHA did not pay anything for this property, and I thought, well, surely that's not true. So I went digging, and I pulled all of our deeds, and I went through all of our files, and it is true. We got a whole bunch of parcels all at once in 2002 that were given to us for $1 by the Marvin E. Riley Mardell Enterprises. So we built on some of them, and then we still have 27 vacant lots that I'm wanting to get rid of at some point because they're small leftover lots that we cannot build on.
Yeah.
And I have talked to a couple developers. I have pursued co-development for the last 2 years, and every developer I talk to says we can't use them. They're too small, they're too scattered, they're too sporadic. We did apply to the state last year to stop paying taxes on them. We've paid taxes on them for 20 plus years and mowed them for 20 plus years, but we can't build on them, and no one's going to co-development. HUD will not let us build on one more property. We're at our cap. We cannot build one more property. So anyway, that's a separate topic, but this one lot, I would love to just give to Lucy Webb, Lucy House.
Lucy
But my board.
That's what says, then you're gonna go with that but.
But the board, I did go to the board, and even though we didn't pay but $1 for all these lots, they're like, it's not about what we paid for it, it's about what it appraises for now. And it appraises for 18,320, something like that. And
You go
so-
back to your board, tell them I'll give them $2.
So I went to them and was like, will you lower it below 15? And the last they told me, which that was last year, was no, 15 is our bottom dollar, but I am not above going and asking them again. So we have a board meeting the third Tuesday this month, and I can go to them again and say, hey, would you consider? Because to me, it's too small for us to build on. It's right between them and that playground. I want them to have it. I just have to convince my board somehow to let us give it to you. I mean, if the commissioners did have a price they were thinking, a counter price.
$2.
$2, I knew that's what it was gonna be.
Like a
But- Right, yeah. My board, Judge.
You're gonna double your money out of it.
Judge Jan Corzine, Tamara Lowe, Jonathan Hughes, Juan Brown, they're all in agreement that was their price. So I'll go to them again and ask again.
Is this a public board meeting?
Mm-hmm.
And they know what we're gonna use this for, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, it's to expand their services, whether it would be an extension of their parking lot, or whether, I would love to see it be, and my proposal last year was, little events and little
That's-
things.
That's what I take it that they're gonna try to do, is put in,
Mr. Riley was a member of the Friends of Lucy,
yeah.
and he intended to donate that property to the Lucy House. He had a building on it which has since been demolished. But for some legal reason, he was not able to do so.
Yeah, I don't know why we got it in our group that he gave us, but it came in a big old cluster of lots, so. It looks like it was 7 different tracks and like 8 different parcels that we got, so. I will go back to the board the third Tuesday of the month. If one of you want to come and, talk to the board, you can, but I will do my best. to see
And
if they're-
last year, I wrote a proposal for possible usage of the property. They should be in your files. Top 10 reasons, the acquisition. But I have some copies here I can pass out to if you know, if your class is not here at the time.
Okay, thank you.
So, for you to be short and sweet. There's nothing else I can do today but say I'll go back to the board.
Yeah.
Well, that's, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I got it pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you have it already.
Yeah.
I mean, my thought is to give it to them, but I
Well,
have
that's,
to.
you don't have the authority, and that's your board, and I think there's probably, if I'm trying to anticipate what the mindset of board members who run with that is, you know, we can't just I can see where they might think, we can't just give away property left and right.
Mhm.
This is a unique situation though, because it's a partnership with a community nonprofit with property that's owned by the community itself.
Yeah.
You all are maintaining the property still, so you're spending money on the property.
Yeah.
And in terms of end use, there's no ability for you all to develop it any further, so.
You can't develop it any further, it's not big enough.
Nope, it's
So
not.
I don't think it would be a wise use, I don't currently think it's a wise use of metropolitan housing to continue maintaining it. And it wouldn't be a wise use of public dollars for us to purchase it
Right.
at the appraised value, given that this is a public entity, that's a public entity, we
I know.
can, hopefully we can break loose.
I'm gonna go back to them again and ask them about just this one lot, but I probably will be coming back to the commissioners soon about the other 26 lots. Seeing if there's something we can do to offload those to, to the city, even if it's in just one lump sum, something. Because I can't do anything with them. They're all leftover lots where we built and then there was like one more parcel, that they're too small to really do anything with.
Yeah.
And you're still maintaining.
There's still mowing it, there's a building there you have to maintain.
Yeah.
There's
Right
a
now
building
they're-
probably getting full of wasp nests right now, if I had to guess.
Right now, my mod coordinator's using it as her temporary holding site for dirt and for timber, where they're getting ready to rebuild some bank sides at Lincoln Park, but up till now, we haven't used it for anything, so. I'll go back to them and talk to them and see what I can do.
Well, I appreciate you coming in and having the conversation.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let us know.
I would have already talked to him, but we only meet once a month, and I got the invite in between, so. All right, I'll reach out to Kathy when we're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You might point out that is the last parcel in that like half block that isn't a public or semi-public
Right.
use between Lucy House and the playground.
They want them to have it, they just want the commissioners to buy it. So, I'll see what I can do. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Anything further, John?
That's it, sir.
That's it, thank you.
Do come to our Juneteenth event on,
I see
I
that.
think, the 12th,
14.
14th, and then we'll have our annual meeting on the 28th. Who is our speaker, David?
Jeff Wilson.
He has republished or published some Squire and Davis maps that are far more
Jeff
accurate.
is a remarkable individual. He's an expert on the archaeology of Serpent Mound. When the Ark of Appalachia owned the property, they banned him from entry because he disagreed with some of their policies. Recently, he has gone to Washington, D.C. and found the original manuscripts and the original engravings of the Squire and Davis Ancient Monument of Mississippi Valley, publication 1848. He's compared modern editions with the originals. There's some differences. Because the New York engravers who engraved the maps of various mounds and earthworks never saw them. And they were going simply from the description of Squire and Davis and made some mistakes. So he has published 3 fat volumes of a correction of 1848 publication. I'm talking about that on the 28th. Cost around $90 each.
What time is that?
That'll be 2 o'clock.
Well, the annual meeting's at 2 o'clock and Jeff is scheduled for 3. 'Cause I think it's just a business meeting before that. Anything else, Kevin?
Very good, thank you guys.
Gentlemen, once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Let you know how it goes.
Melissa is here if you want to see her now.
Who?
Melissa.
Well, tell her come on in here.
I got her. I watched that. Kevin Costner, the West thing.
Yeah, did you watch the old one? I mean, the one they had about
Yeah, I
Little
watched
Turtle?
actually all three.
About for the Northwest Territory?
Yeah.
About Little Turtle, yeah. And we're talking about the Northwest Territory, and I ended up finding a plate. Well, my wife did found a plate that has St. Clair's building on it, the one that's at Water and Mulberry. It's a plate. I don't know when it's dated or anything like that.
Supposed headquarters.
It's supposedly headquarters. They used to be at,
Yeah.
because they moved that building because it was sitting down here at Maine and Mulberry, I think.
That was a big hullabaloo in the 1987. The paper, response.
We're in a situation right now.
Property contracts for headhunters and such.
Well, not so much that, where we're talking about the companies that are coming in to review our paper.
You made an impression, you made an impression. I was like, that's why I remember that stuff. Yeah.
You thought I was new, didn't you?
I did, I remember the new guy. I miss him a lot. Great guy, one in a million.
Company is Harrison.
Hey, good to see you.
There has been a number of them.
Do you want to go into executive session?
I see it. Review and news release.
We are going to do a new release here.
Randy, we usually go into
We've
executive
got
session.
one draft, we've got a.
I can't remember.
I
don't think we ever did because
that we'll talk about.
Oh, okay.
I think we did for a little bit, and then I tried to really sanitize it.
But there's no name.
Okay. We won't do.
Thank you. Very much on board. So maybe sometime I'll bring her into me.
You know, I can't hear a damn thing.
Oh, okay, absolutely. Yeah. Never even
Hey, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready to go. Thank
can-
you very much for
you've
meeting
done
with
it.
me, and thank you for meeting with me early. I do appreciate it. I greatly appreciate your attention to this. So I brought with me today, first quarter 2025, a claims review. What I put together is like an executive summary of the entire packet because there's lots of information in there that we would not want to be out on the street, so I've sanitized it as cleanly as I could. I'm not hiding any information, it's just PHI, and there are certain things you do not want to get out. So this is, I would treat it like I would treat my mother's claims. I wouldn't want my mother's claims out on the street, although there's no information in here. It's not considered PHI because I've sanitized it, okay? So, it's just a matter of why I come out to see you is to let you know where we stand every quarter so that when renewal comes around, we're not shocked. Now, sometimes that can happen anyway. The last 3 months can either, make our renewal better or send it through the whole other direction. And 3 months worth of data can do that. We are not running very well, so we're hoping for a really good 3 months. Because again, we're not running very well. We have 123% loss ratio. So for every dollar we bring in, you're spending $1.23. So to look at next year, what we're gonna do is look at the claims we have. We have to say how much is that gonna cost next year. And so that's what the renewal is gonna be. So I can tell you by looking at this, we can be expecting probably another high renewal. Now, As you know, our board of directors are all commissioners that are on our board. They take a look, the actuary takes a look at this and she says this is how much money we need. They take a look at the plans, they say this is how much the plans cost, here's what each one of the counties will get. Now, and it's based on the loss ratio and the plans that you have. So, I mean, no one sees Ross County across the top. They see Plan 1, they see County A, County B, County C. No, they don't know what counties they are, they don't know what counties you are. But they do know how much it's gonna take, and that's when they vote on the percentages.
You heard me.
Okay. Okay. So, just kind of a review where we stand today. Average employees for Ross County, 543 employees. SEPCO overall, 15,980. Right now, we are at 16,753 because we added Claremont County, and I just put that on there just so we can talk about, we added Claremont County 1-1, so just let you know where we stand on that. Average age of the employees for Ross County is 46. Average age of all belly buttons that are covered here in Ross County is 36. So average age of your employee, 46, belly buttons, 36. SEPCO overall, the exact same numbers. So you match up with our program. You are what what SEPCO represents. County government and the right ages, okay? And of course you choose your plans. Medical and prescription drug, Ross County again has a loss ratio of 123.4%. SEPCO overall is 106. Now that includes both of our large claims. Everybody's large claims are in that number. At renewal, we take your large claims out that are over 125,000. Ross County has 16 large claims. That's high, that's a lot. But you have 16 of them. So the good news is that's gonna come out of your loss ratio. But I don't wanna show you that until we get to renewal because we don't know, they could be still incurring claims, they could be coming off the plan. Anything can happen. I'm showing you true numbers, real. 123.4 is real, and SEPCO is 106.6. Of those 16 large claimants, they range from 126,000 up to 652. 3 children, 7 spouses, and 6 employees. I tell you that in case there's lots of industries where they have spousal riders. We have quite a few counties that have a spousal rider on our program. If that's something that you are interested in, this is where I would look to say, here's here's the statistics. If it is something that you want to do, I'm not advocating for that. I'm merely providing information. Okay. Again, that's based on probably businesses in the area. If your businesses in the area have that, it's much more palatable for employees. They understand it better. Again, quite a few counties have it, certainly not all, and I would not say half have a spousal rider, okay? And normally what they do is they'll just charge more to have a spouse on the plan. Okay, so if you have any questions on that, let me know. Your large claims, mostly cancers. Just that's mostly cancer. 2 immunotherapies, 3 circulatory, and 2 musculoskeletal. Musculoskeletal are the things that we normally pick on. I say that lightly. Those are the ones that we go for because those are the things we probably could change with some lifestyle changes. Lose weight, get more active, build that muscle up, some of those things. But and that's.
Then if you put down and lose weight, then they're taking a shot, which raises, which goes again.
Well, you don't have to take the shot.
Okay.
Okay, so that's just one of the things. It's just musculoskeletal are usually low back, things like that, and that's going to be the first thing your doctor says to you when it's low back is we've got to tighten up that core. We've got to get you in better shape. Number 1, we're going to need to lose weight. We're going to need to get more active. That's the first thing any doctor is going to say before they talk about anything else. So that's the only reason I bring that up. Okay.
Correct me, because I remember this from I think before I was a commissioner, but then I lost touch. SEPCO doesn't have a wellness participation program.
We have the Sydney app, and that people can participate in and get $200.
Okay.
What we don't do is we don't have it. We do not say, here's what your rates will be if you participate in a wellness program, and here's what they want. We won't do that. We're gonna tell you what your rates are, and then each county can decide what they want to do. That's Ross County's decision, your decision. Okay? So on a much brighter note, dental loss ratio is 89.4%. We always expect that to be high because it's going to even out in the next 3 months, because beginning of the year and the end of the year is when all the kids come home, everybody goes to the dentist, they want to use that FSA money, they go to the dentist, and so our loss ratios are high. They'll usually come down in the next 3 months. So Ross County is 89.4, SEPCO overall 94.1, and so but that's very understandable. Vision loss ratio 77.5 for Ross County, 75.4 for SEPCO overall. We haven't had a rate increase in our vision for quite some time. It's running very well. It is very predictable, as much as dental is very predictable. So they can tell by just looking at the group, exactly what those rates will be. So just kind of talking a little bit about, what's in that money that we spend. Financial utilization, 99% of all claims that were processed here, that were processed for Ross County, were processed in network. That's huge. When members go to a network facility, number one, it saves us money, because that network facility is going to take a discount, all of them except for Children's Hospital, is going to take a discount. And number two is because that protects our members. Our members don't have to pre-certify or pre-authorize. The provider has to do that for them. So when our members use a network facility, that is in all of our best interests. We always want them to do that. And they have, by using a network facility, Ross County only, $12.6 million was saved in a discount amount, in a discount arrangement, by going to network facilities. That's substantial.
That's good.
We are in the middle of an RFP right now. As you know, we do this every 3 years. We go out, we shop our vendors, and that meets 9.833, so that you guys don't have to incur that cost. You most certainly can. I give you the information that you can shop it if you want to, but it saves you thousands of dollars by not having to. You certainly can, if you want to. But Anthem Network is absolutely working in this area, okay? Utilization by setting, inpatient costs have increased, which doesn't surprise anybody. Look at our large claims. Inpatient are hospitalizations. Outpatient, they've increased. So all of our outpatient surgeries are increasing as well. Professional, there's a slight decrease, which is not good. We really want people to go see their primary care doc, and this is why we give them 50 points. If they go to 50 points, it's $50 in the Sydney Act, if they do that. And then the pharmacy, there is an increase. And as you know, there's lots of commercials on television that says, hey, go to your doctor and ask for this drug. And that's what members are doing, and that absolutely works. Instead of the doctor saying this drug is going to work for you, our members already know what they want to take when they go to the doctor, which is not always great. However, they are making new drugs that are fantastic, that get people out of bed, keep them alive, let them be able to come to work. So they are great, they're just costly. And that's why there's an increase in our pharmacy. Utilization by top providers, because it's good to know where we're spending our money, because it's a lot of money. So number one, and this is based on claim dollars, not the number of services. Claim dollars. Number one, Nationwide Children's. Number two, Arthur James, Adena Regional, Cleveland Clinic, and Miami Valley. Now, outpatient, this is, of course, the things that you'll go have the surgery, maybe your shoulders go, maybe a knee replacement, something that's going to be very quick. You're going to go, you're going to have that surgery, and then you're going to go home. You're going to be released to your loved ones to take care of you. That's an outpatient surgery. Outpatient surgery, number one, is Adena. That makes sense. It's the closest. That's where I'm going to go if I'm living here in Chillicothe. Adena, Arthur James, Berger Hospital, Grant Medical Center, and Nationwide Children's. Emergency room, and I hate that Jack is not here today, or Commissioner Everson, because he asked me the last time I was here for information on emergency room, and I will send him an email with this information. But I got some great information for him regarding emergency room. So we always pick on people that go to the emergency room, and emergency rooms are a great place. They save lives, they are wonderful, they take care of, they take care of us. It's just the most expensive place for care. When you go to an emergency room, an average claim cost is $1,500. An average doctor's office visit is $100. So if we can get people to call the doctor because they have having a migraine and they start to manage that diagnosis, it's going to be a whole lot less expensive than them going into the emergency room. That's the only reason we pick on it. Now, these are not true numbers. I cannot tell you this is an absolute savings if people did not go, because a lot of these are true emergencies. They just have a non-emergency diagnosis attached to the claim. And if, so we had 130 non-emergency or avoidable, I shouldn't say non-emergency, avoidable ER visits. The prior time I was here, that number was 97. So it's easy. I mean, it's easier to go to an emergency room than it is to sit and wait for 2 days until you can get into your doctor's office.
Does urgent care classify as emergency room?
It does not.
Okay.
Unless but a lot of times if you go to an urgent care and say you broke your ankle, or you think you broke your ankle, a lot of urgent cares don't have a x-ray machine, and they're going to send you to the emergency room, so then you're going to incur both costs and everybody's mad.
We got a good one here though. I mean, they've got an x-ray machine there.
Do they? That's fantastic.
Yeah, you can go there and
I do in Columbus too. I mean, they have good ones, but in my rural counties, Hardin County doesn't have that option. They don't have that. So a lot of times, people, if you think something's broken, don't go to an urgent care. Because you're just going to incur both costs, and then you're going to be mad at me, and I'm going to run into you out at the Walmart, and you'll be mad. That's don't do it. So it's just one of the things we like to talk about. Avoidable ER had a potential savings of $331,000. That's a lot of money. That's a potential savings, but again, it's just potential. That is not true and good numbers. No one is watching people walk into the emergency room. It's just kind of food for thought. The prescriptions, we had 18,163 total prescriptions filled for $3,185,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of prescriptions. And the prior period, we had 15,000. So 18,000 this time, 15,000 last time. Prescription numbers are going up, claim dollars are going up. 87.5%, so 88, almost 88% are filled with generics, which is fantastic. That's all we can ask our people to do is fill them with the generic first. See if that generic works. It's the most inexpensive one for you, and it's the most expensive one for us. 88%, 87.5% are filled with generics. However, all the others are brand medications. Brand medications are much more expensive. Of your total cost of prescriptions, of all of that dollar that we're talking about, 3.1 mil, 61.8 are in your top 10 medications. For Sebco overall, that number is 41%. So just to let you know, you run a little bit higher prescription-wise. Our top 5 drug categories are dermatological, anti-diabetic, anti-obesity. And you say, why is anti-obesity in there, Melissa? We don't even cover those drugs anymore. That's correct. However, you have to remember we have 6 months worth of last year's data on here, and that's why our still. So 3 months of this does not cover them, and then 3 more months, and it's going to keep going down with each time that we review this. But they're still there, the dollars are still there for the months that we're covering. Anti-inflammatory drugs, psychotherapeutic medications, and then for Sebco overall, anti-diabetics, dermatologicals, analgesics, anti-obesity, and cancer and gastrointestinal drugs, just to let you know. So, and when I tell you about brand names and where we're spending all of our money, if you look over this list, you're going to see a lot of these things there's commercials for. And that's why our people know what drugs to go and talk to. But that's big pharma. They win at the State House all of the time. I would like them not to be able to be on commercials, but that's just me. It's also the other side of that coin is it lets people know that there's drugs out there that can help them. And again, it helps people be able to live. It's not making them grow bigger. I mean, those kind of drugs aren't faster. They're not making them grow bigger and be better football players. Those kind of drugs aren't covered under our program. However, if it's a little one that needs growth hormone, they're gonna get it, but not somebody that wants to play football better. Okay? So that in a nutshell is first quarter, and I went through that very quickly. I can answer any questions that you have. Again, I appreciate your time, and again, the whole reason for me coming here and going through this review is just to let you know we're working towards the renewal, and with 123% loss ratio, we can expect one of the higher renewals. Maybe it'll get better in 3 months.
It's a higher renewal percentage.
Well, it changes every year. The board of directors vote on what those are. I can give you a chart. I'm going to say in the past, I think probably the highest was 18%. But as you know, the cost of everything is increasing as we are, with our looking at a new vendor. We're looking at the contracts with each one of them. When they go to sign contracts at all of our hospitals, that costs more money. So everything is costing more money. I cannot tell you what a renewal increase is going to be. I can tell you that this is higher, and you're going to be on the high end, I'm sure.
It's pretty good news.
I know, but we have had very good renewals.
Yeah.
And Commissioner, I can provide you with a map that shows just to look back. That'll show you like all the renewals and where they came in, and because there were quite a few that we did very well here in Ross County, and the last couple just.
It's just other departments.
I don't think last year was bad.
Well, last year, I think the anticipation was we were gonna have a very high renewal.
There's gonna be,
And then it came
And
in
those
slow.
3 months came in, and then we lose the high
I think it was
claimants.
6 or 8.
So I said, that
Yeah.
it was, because now the departments are trying to do their mid-year budget, and they're keep asking us what's the rate's gonna be,
And we truly.
we'll say go as high as you think you can go, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I mean, I expect it to be double digits.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. But what those double digits are, if it tops out at 19, if it
Let's go
tops
with the
out
low
at 22.
double digits. It's like 10.
Okay, so you want me to just send Jack an email about the emergency room data, because he really wanted that.
Okay.
He was interested, because he gets so, he's like, you always pick on my emergency room people, give me some data. So, just to let you know, there was 42 visits, this was all of 2024. 42 visits on a Friday, 40 visits on a Monday or Sunday, 39 on a Tuesday, 38 on a Thursday, 36 on a Wednesday, and 29 on a Saturday. So we really, Friday is definitely the most at 42. However, they're all good days.
Yeah.
They're all good days. So,
Our mid-year budget memo was 15%.
Is that what it was?
Just as a
I figure that's gonna be shallow.
shot in the dark.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be shallow.
but we can always go. Okay, anything else I can provide for you? Do you have any questions? I'm always available. You can always send me an email, give me a call. You've got my cell. You can call me anytime.
No, we appreciate it.
All right.
Sarah,
Thank
did you get that for the wellness stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had a harder time trying to park my car with the Park Mobile. Is that not working?
It's city, we don't know.
Okay. Oh, so I just went the old-fashioned way and put coins in it.
Well,
There you go.
that
I
and
keep a bag of coins in my truck.
what I do.
That's why.
who you have your cell phone service with?
Got Verizon.
Well, you should have picked it up, because now they're having trouble with
T-Mobile?
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
I put 3 different
T-Mobile
cards.
downtown, they put a temporary antenna up, but it goes out.
It's all right, they're not gonna get me. I went the old-fashioned way. I put coins in it.
So Melissa, I guess I might have one question. So if we offer a wellness rate for completion, that's gonna be on there?
Yes.
On it. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Yeah.
Kathy, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And so have you guys decided that, or is that something that needs to be decided? Okay.
Probably won't until we figure out what this
Increases.
increase is gonna be, and we'll probably do that around budget time. I hate saying the worst part of this job.
Hey, we don't have another one until 11:30.
Met a friend of yours yesterday.
Yeah.
Grant Ward.
But this year, they'll get their wellness rate for completion? We're talking about potentially next year, what we're gonna do,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
We have to figure it out come next year.
Gotcha.
What's going on.
I have the last page of that signed by Jeff Marks. You just sent it to me, so I'm gonna the Sedgwick.
Oh. Okay, I'm just kind of threw me off here for a while.
Did you guys make it through your Gus Macker Court drama-free?
The last day we did, well, yeah, the last day we did.
Our second day was crazy.
That, Saturday was not good. Sunday was okay.
Okay.
They got second. They're not very happy, but
I told Joshua, he came up with his silver Gus Macker ball trophy,
Yeah.
and he was just like, halfway mad about it. And I said, dude, it's lined in gold.
Exactly.
And he's like,
yeah.
it's not funny.
No, they wanted to win.
Well, that's still good for was that their first year
That was
playing
Josh's,
together?
Jaden's played before, but
Okay.
Josh hadn't played before. He's a great player.
Oh, I know.
He's
fun
gonna
to watch.
He's gonna be a fantastic.
It's just the IQ is.
He's so smart,
Mhm.
he is, and he's just he's a nice kid. I never saw him really play like he did. I mean, he took no crap.
Yeah.
I mean, they had one kid that was really tall, and that's the only thing we had Knox, but Knox
Yeah.
doesn't move his feet yet, so.
Yeah. Aw.
But he played.
Well, at that point, you can just throw it up in the air to those big kids.
Fellowship Christian Athletes.
Yeah.
Who did?
Fellowship Christian Athletes.
Okay.
Brian Grigsby,
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom White.
Tom White.
Tom White.
Yeah, I saw Tom and Judy while I was there.
I did not see them at all.
Hadn't seen them in a long time.
I didn't come in town whatsoever.
Yeah. I was in town. Oh, I guess it was church on Sunday. I was in town, and I just saw it from Water Street. I could see the road was closed, or wherever I was.
We got a call from Roberta Milliken at OUC.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently she sent you guys an email asking you to come to an event. She talked to Jack. Jack said he's gonna be out of town, but she's really hoping she can get one of you to come there.
I don't
Here's your-
recollect
here's
at
your-
all.
I can't remember what it was.
I have
It
zero
has something to do
recollection.
with some grant money and stuff too, and they
Yeah.
really need somebody to be there, but there's her phone number. I wanna give her a call.
I've seen it, I can't remember what it was.
I gotta clean out some of these spam emails I get every day.
I ignore those and then end up with like 20,000 emails that I
Well,
have to
that's
go
the
through.
problem, is it?
The new AI organization system for Yahoo Mail, it's helpful, but you also lose things. Did you bring a sniff basket?
Yep.
What's, Wednesday, June 11th.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I see it now.
Dated on May the 30th.
Where's the last page? She's gonna replace it.
Replace this last page.
Well, here's the problem. I've got
That's what I realized, their meeting is in the middle of our meeting.
Is it on Monday?
It's June 9th at 9 a.m.
Yeah, but there's something she wants us to go to.
The way I read it, this is why I just, when I see a meeting come through that's already during our meeting, then I don't.
Of course, they invited to join us in a special reception honoring Dr. Roberta Milliken.
She's retired.
She's retiring.
We're talking about two different things.
Okay. That's
I'm
June
talking
11th.
about the stakeholder meeting for Ross County Recreational Asset Study.
That's the one she was.
That's the one she's talking about.
It's on Monday at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be we're not gonna be there. We're
Yeah.
gonna be here. So, I mean, I think it is important. And our participation in that conversation probably is critical to some degree where we're talking about recreation, tourism, and economic growth. But we meet every Monday at 9. I will call her.
Have they chosen a new dean?
That I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
Are you guys gonna wait for Jack to address the Preservation Hall thing?
I probably.
Yes.
He sent us that email. I'd like to have that conversation probably with Tammy as well.
With who?
Tammy.
Tammy, yeah.
Because of, I think it's progress in the right direction, but I want to know what the terms of Jobs Ohio support is, and
She'll probably be on that call with you guys later today. Maybe you get her to stay on there afterwards. And
maybe we have a 1:30.
oh, okay.
One of the things they're trying to close on the property in 3 days, and I've gone around and around. I don't need to repeat myself on some of it, but the other thing is like, it's very, very difficult to make decisions when you've got a gun to your head on a deadline. And, you know, that's just one of the things that I'm not there yet. Once we get there, I think it makes more sense to purchase the property than to loan the Port Authority the money anyway, because the Port Authority is an extension of the Board of Commissioners, and the Port Authority doesn't have a regular source of revenue. So to me, I'd rather be sure about what we're doing and then be fine about purchasing the property, but, you know, $1 to $3 million is what I think they said. That's still a pretty big gap between what it could be to renovate this thing, and we're estimating $10 million, but I don't even know where we're getting that $10 million estimate, because I think about I think about the estimate that we have for the courthouse, where it goes problem by problem, basically, or topic by topic.
Issue by issue,
This
yeah.
is the thing we need to do, this is how much it needs to cost,
Yeah.
this is how much. We don't have that for this.
And just based on, you look at the courthouse, that's a building that's been relatively well maintained for
Many years.
many years. That one is not
Right.
maintained at all. We don't know what we're getting into. But again, is there someone else trying to move on it, or what's the deal with us having this?
I think what she said was that, if they don't close on it, then he's gonna sell it to somebody that wants to use it as a, I don't know, something like that.
Antiques or something.
Antiques or something in there. Kinda like what they had in there before, I think. Didn't they have something in there before like that?
Selling boots.
I
They
don't know,
used
they
to have an
had,
antique store in there.
I
for a
thought there
long
was,
time.
somebody was in there that was selling boots or something.
I'm a long way from point A to point B there. But I'm just one person. One vote.
calendar, what's my week look like here?
And Bruce probably will not make it early, will he?
Probably not too, no. He's coming, I think, from Columbus, so.
Hungry.
The Pixel work session is 1 o'clock. And George is supposed to be here at 1:30.
Yeah.
Should we want a half hour for that work session?
Yeah, we're gonna, that's what I sent an email about that, but I don't know if Jack saw it. I think it's fun,
Okay.
to have a half, I mean, we need to have George that. We need to have that conversation with George, so.
Okay.
I would prefer that it would have been an hour, but it's fine. I'll go ahead and call Dr. Wilkin here while I've got a second. Just tell her we're gonna be here on Monday.
I can't believe Metropolitan Housing got the land free given to them.
Who's that?
Metropolitan Housing got that land free. They got they paid $1 for the whole group of them.
27 lots, is that what you
Yeah.
said?
You talking about down by the Lucy House?
Yeah. They gave $1 for 26 or 27 different spots.
Really?
$1.
Well, I was down there.
And now they want $18,000 for that one spot beside Lucy.
I don't know who owns the piece in the back. I probably ought to look at that.
Who did he say was on the board? All I heard was Jan and,
Jan Timberlow and
Timberlow.
I don't know who else.
Tabitha Muse, was that the other one?
Who?
Tabitha Muse?
Yes.
Right.
Metropolitan Housing owns the piece right next to the piece they're wanting. And there's a little shed on there and they've started to dump all kinds of trash there.
Well, that's what Nikki was saying, they was putting dirt and stuff like that.
Mostly broken up asphalt. There's piles of it there. I don't know why.
What'd she say, build up of the park? Is
They're
there a
gonna
wall or
use it-
something?
They're gonna use it to fix the wall at Lincoln Park.
That's what that step material is, they put over there, is
The
what
wall
they're gonna
at
be using.
Lincoln Park.
I swear that's what she
That-
said.
The bank of Lincoln Park, before Grandview Cemetery falls down Lincoln Park.
Well, Lincoln Park isn't anywhere near Grandview Cemetery.
Yeah, it is.
Uh-uh.
It's right at the bottom of Grandview Cemetery. I must be seeing it wrong.
I'm looking at the map here.
Is there some sort of retaining
It's
wall?
on
or
the
something?
corner of 7th and Walnut.
7th and Walnut is where Lincoln Park is.
Yeah.
The backside of Lincoln Park is where that bank is.
There isn't any bank. I spent a lot of years in there.
I tried
Almost
to.
20.
She said a build up of something, that's what that material was for.
And maybe they're doing something behind their homes there. Here, let's pull it up here.
She actually sent us the draft that they're talking about in minute meetings and meeting minutes. We'll go from there. They're having that meeting and they've got this draft study or something. Oh no. Talking about cardinal directions again?
What was that?
There's Lincoln Park.
No, we're not talking about the park itself, we're talking about the apartments.
Oh, well, that's different.
And we're talking about Lincoln Park apartments.
Well, so they're back in here.
Yeah, they're back. See right back in here, see, that's the bottom of, if
Right
you keep going,
Yeah.
I think that bank is what she's talking about, to where it's coming down.
Well, why didn't they put it back there instead of dumping it right there?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks terrible. Yeah, I thought you were talking about Lincoln Park.
No, I know what you're thinking about.
The park, Lincoln Park.
So the playground.
Southern Playground, yeah. Hello, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hi. Just me?
Have a seat.
How are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Wonderful. It's a beautiful day.
I figure the news media probably will not be here for that.
Yeah.
They can come back and watch it on.
You can watch it on YouTube or something.
How are you? Thank you. Hello?
Thank you, sir. How we doing?
Good, good, good.
Good.
Bruce Preston, good to see you again. Hi, I don't think we've met.
No,
Bruce Preston.
David Glass, nice to meet you. Thank you.
And Mr. Everson?
Yes.
He's on vacation.
Ah. Wow. I trust you'll get him the folder.
We'll just leave it on.
No, we're not
Leave it on there and put it on top.
Put it on the
I try
top.
to get it to him, it's more likely to get lost.
Should we dive in?
We're ready anytime you are.
All right. So the first sheet I put in there for you looks like this. And it's a history of how the county has been rated on workers' comp. There's a figure called an EM, which stands for experience modifier. Some people call it employer modifier, X-mod, mod rate. It is the percentage of the base rate you pay. So every single county starts out at the same rate, and then your loss history will modify that rate. Anything over 1 means you're paying just a little bit more than the base rate. 2026 hasn't been released yet, but projections look like it's going to be a 1.34. And then you'll also see to the right, where it says discount programs, historically, the county participated in the Transitional Work Bonus Program and the Industry-Specific Safety Program. The state has sunsetted both of those programs, so that's why you see them no longer there. Starting with the current year, you got into the program we're going to be talking a little bit about, which is a group retro program offered through CCAO. And below that, though, just to give it a little context, the state looks at a rotating 4-year history of losses. It takes a loss year about 2 years to come into your experience. It stays there for 4 years, and then it rolls its way off. So for the current year, your premium is affected by claims that occurred in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. And I put what we call the total modified losses, which are the actual losses plus a reserve, and then minus any cost mitigation. To the side of that, you'll see unlimited losses. There is a maximum capped claim. That only affects your EM calculation. It doesn't affect the injured worker or their provider. So they get, in workers' comp, there's no limit to coverage. They get whatever they need that's related to the claim. But when they calculate your EMR, they do cap claims so that you don't have the full impact of it. So you'll see, though, that as we go from 25 to 26, the 19-year drops off with about $134,000 in cost. It's replaced by a much larger year from 2023 that has about $252,000 in losses. So that accounts for the increase from 25 to 26, a lower year coming off and a higher cost year coming on. And whereas 2022 we know contains a very serious injury that occurred out here,
Right.
and that accounts for the majority of the cost in that year. When I looked at 2023, it really wasn't a claim. I mean, the largest claim is about a $50,000 claim, and that was a trip fall. There's a couple of other larger claims, and then there just happened to be a number, a volume increase that occurred. I can do a deeper dive in to find out what is the department driving that, and what type of injury is happening. But at a quick look, you can just see that we have a lower cost year coming on and a higher cost year replacing it. The next sheet is just kind of a fact sheet about the group retro program. In a nutshell, it's a shared risk program. There's a little over 60 counties that are participating in it. This program takes injuries that occurred during the calendar year for every county who's participating, and then surveys those losses 1 year later, 2 years later, 3 years later. So right now we're in the 25 year. Those costs will first be surveyed 12/31 of 26, then 12/31 of 27, then 12/31 of 28. So what we're looking at now is a renewal into that program for the 26 year. Those losses would be looked at 27, 28, 29. So the longer you're in it, they start to build on top of each other. Now, it's a shared risk program, so you guys could have the best year in the world, but another county could have some losses. That affects everybody in the pool. You could have a really bad year and everybody else has a great year. That also would affect everybody in the pool. By having that many counties in the pool, it makes it a really stable fund, so that should a fatality, God forbid, or more serious injuries happen with larger costs, there's enough ability to absorb those losses in that pool without having it negatively affect you. The next sheet is this bar chart, and this shows all the possibilities in this program for you. So on the far left, if there's 0 losses for all the counties who are in the program, you get $270,321 back. That's not going to happen. Right? You've never going
Let's be real about it. Yeah.
You're never going to get without a loss.
Yeah.
There's not a county in this program that's going to get without a loss. You all have risk. You have first responders. You have people on road crews. You've got people interacting with the public. You've got a lot of risk. On the far right, though, what happens if it goes horribly wrong, and on those survey dates, claims costs exceed premium paid? In that case, the maximum cap is an additional 5% of your premium, which would be $21,000. So that's the risk in the program for you. We'll look at how the program's been performing, and I can say that, knock wood, there's never been a 1% assessment, let alone a maximum assessment. So again, I think those are possible outcomes, but I think the probable outcome is in the middle of it all. And they're quoting like a 20% rebate. It really could be anywhere because the losses haven't happened yet. So that's why I put in the last sheet that you've got there. And this is really an actual history of how this program has performed. So the actual percentages are percentage of premium. Everybody pays a different premium, but everybody gets the same percentage of rebate in this program. And you can see at a glance, it's ranged anywhere from a high of 42% to like 21%, I think is the lowest one it's come in at. Now then you'll see off to the right, the 22, 3, 4 years, those haven't had all 3 reviews yet. And that's where we're projecting that they will come in. You'll see that those are lower numbers than we've seen in the past. A couple things are going on. The state was using an outsourced company to create claim reserves. Now they're doing their own claim reserves, and they're higher than we were used to seeing. Because those were such high reserves or rebates in the past, the state said, I think we need to put the brakes on that a little bit, so they increased the loss development factor. When they do those cost surveys at the end of the year, all those claims that happened, they multiply them by a loss development factor, and that number becomes the premium for the group. They compare that to the actual premium paid, and the more daylight, the bigger rebate everybody gets back. Well, higher loss development factors mean higher claims costs. And then also along the way, good news, they've been lowering the rates, and so there's been lower premium collected. Well, when you have less premium collected and higher claims costs, you have a tighter margin. But the CCAO group does meet quarterly, the group retro group meets quarterly to review safe practices, to review higher cost claims, to prepare people for what's going on, and then also to talk about what we're doing on the back end to try to mitigate the costs that have occurred. So even though the rebates look to be a little bit smaller in the more recent years than they have been historically, still we can say that this group's never had any kind of an assessment. And should you choose to re-enroll in the program, then this would be your participation next year in the program. Yep. And then that would put you into it for the 2026 year. And then we meet again in a year and say, does this still look like a good bet for you? Does it look like it's a safe risk? The alternative that there has not been any appetite out here in the past for is a program called individual retrospective rating. You would not be a part of a group. You would tell the state, we'll take on the first couple $100,000 per claim and liability, and then the state charges you a lower premium. But you pay actual losses for 10 years on those claims. And as you can see, you've had some higher cost claims years, so the possibility exists that you could end up spending more by doing that than by going into the pool with CCAO. Plus the risk cap is a minimum of $200,000 per claim, 150% of premium. Here the risk cap is 5% of premium, so it's a much lower risk program. I should have warned you to drink coffee before this discussion. A lot of math very early, I'm sorry.
Hey, we just, you just left us. It's okay, you just left us.
So that's kind of a quick overview. Were there any questions or anything you wanted me to talk about with regards to the program or re-enrollment?
I'm not.
I don't have any questions, no.
Okay. You've got the packet. The state does require that we file a signed form, but you also have until the end of July to get all that stuff done. I'll tell you, the closer we get to July, the more phone calls you get saying, hey. have you made this?
We're going to go and sign this today.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
I'll second.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Well, there we go.
I think we'll see that's me. Authorized signature. It has two places for signature, but I don't know if that's for me or not.
There is a spot, I think, on there for the prosecutors. Some counties require that the
You
prosecutors.
just need the last page
You just need the
signed.
last page signed, right?
Yep. And then the U-153, is that form in there? I know, right?
This,
Correct.
okay, so yes, you can just sign on here.
Thanks, Kathy.
That's why it has a sticker beside it.
You gonna fill everything else out?
I don't know if anything needs filled out.
Well, this has got a whole bunch of things here.
Do you need to do this with you today?
No, ma'am, you can send them in. You're good to go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I will email it to you.
Perfect.
Thank
Well,
you very much.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Good seeing everybody again and meeting you.
Yeah, me too. Look, you can.
Safe travels, my friend.
Thank you, sir. It's a bright sunny
Careful.
day, so I have no
It's
excuses.
beautiful out there, and yeah, yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Hey, let's take a break till 1 o'clock.
I'll make a motion to recess.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye. Come back at 1 o'clock for a work session. Response team.